Thank goodness he has finally arrived. The day had been growing oh so gray and dull. I was practically into the floor. But then that adorable car came around the corner with its bright yellow sunshiny paint job with all the pink flowers on its side. Oh, it was so cute that it sprung some life back into me, and I ran out the door to greet our birthday clown. He was a regular Mickey Mouse brought to life with his big buttoned overalls, under his beautifully gaudy coat with all colors of stripes and shapes of plaid. "Why, hello there," he said. "I'm Patches, how do you do?" I shook his hand and got stung by the buzzer. "Oh, Patches, you scamp." "Well, I try my best." He tipped off his red bowler hat and waved his shaggy orange hair around. "So where's Jimmy and the kids?" Aw, he even remembered Jimmy's name right on the top of his head. What a dedicated clown. "I'm sorry, Patches, but you've somehow come early to the party. Jimmy isn't here yet." "Oh no," he exaggeratedly scratched his head. "But it won't be too long. Would you like a drink while we wait? I have some Chardonnay that I haven't opened yet." "You have any Coke?" My, he doesn't even drink on the job. "Yes, I do. Come with me." He's perfect, everything I expected when I saw him at my nephew's party. You see, little Corey can be a bit of a brat, and he cried, snot running down his face when his ice cream spilled onto the yard. Patches was so deeply disturbed by the crying that you could see his painted smile deflate. He looked over to the grown-up corner of the party and seen us all enjoying our pinotage. His blushed cheeks puffed out in frustration. He then raised a brow as if he had an idea. "Hey Corey, check this out!" Patches grabbed a can of Coca-Cola and chugged it all down. It then fell from his fingers, and he stood, silent, hands on his hips, waiting. Corey's bawling slowed, and the kid stared up at the clown with a sheer look of, "What is going on?" Patches burped, and a bubble floated into the air. I violently tapped on my brother's shoulder. "Look at this." He burped again. 2 more bubbles. He took a deep breath, letting his belly get full with air. He held a grin on his face, and he released a ground-shaking belch, letting dozens and dozens of bubbles fly from his mouth. Corey's face just lit up with joy as he looked around at all the bubbles swirling around him. He laughed. That miserable, whiny brat laughed. He was experiencing a joy I've never seen before in my life. I immediately harassed my brother for the number for the Clown Town Company and scheduled Patches for Jimmy's party. Jimmy needed Patches. I needed Patches. My hand twitched frantically as I poured the Coke, getting it all over my counter. "Whoops," Patches said. "I'm so sorry. I have a bit of nerve damage in my hand after my father smashed it with a hammer." "Oh, he placed his hands on his hips, then let them drop. I'm sorry to hear that." "It's alright. I didn't feel a thing. Not back then. And not now, either." I flashed a smile, but it didn't reassure poor Patches. "Still, a family shouldn't do that to one another. Family should take care of each other. That's what we say in Clown Town." Such soft earnestness in his voice. "What a sweetheart," I said. I hoped I was right. "Is dinner ready, Thomas?" Then a thud came with each of Jimmy's footsteps. Patches spun around to check it out, and, well, his own scream was sucked out of him. All that came from his lips was a quick shock of breath. Patches' whole body shivered as Jimmy sucked on his pacifier, scanning the clown, the eyes going up and down. "Hello?" Jimmy spat his passy and ran for Patches, pulling him in by his coat, pulling the crying Patches into his hairy belly. "Please stop." Patches squirmed, and I sipped my Chardonnay. Jimmy wrapped a hand on the clown's thin neck and pulled him up so that he may lick his white face. "No! Stop it! You got another week for your birthday, mister." "But I'm hungry, Thomas." Not another word, child. I need that time to prepare him. What is going on? The clown whimpered, his cheeks getting puffy as tears rolled down his face. He recoiled as I came to him, wrapping my finger around his soft hair. Oh, Patches, you're so cute when you're like this. To answer your question, Jimmy is my child. Of sorts, and we're going to have a very special dinner for his birthday. Well, I will, anyway. I want cheeseburger. Yes, my little baby here can't bring himself past American mincemeat. Patches squirmed as I felt his ribs. I'll have to slice the meat off the torso and grind it up into patties. And I think pouring over a soy sauce and Worcestershire marinade before frying would be good. Then some sautéed mushrooms and Swiss on top, all complemented with a dry Riesling. My hands ran up to the pectoral muscles, fingers circling as his breath sputtered. But not for me, Patches. No. I want that heart of yours. I want to feel that joy you bring to the children every day of my life. I want to feel it inside of me. Please, just... I won't tell. I won't tell. I grabbed my cleaver. Yes, Patches, I know you won't. On his special day, the baby enjoyed his basic cuisine, and I was happy for him, but I was the one who would take part in something exquisite. I seared the heart into a steak with caramelized onions. And how wonderfully tender it was. Juicy, too. Going very well with my glass of red Riviera. Every bite was simply scrumptious. And then my plate was empty, and the day grew gray and dull with hints of thunder. No more exciting birthday activities, I told Jimmy. It was time to settle down for the night. I tried reading a book, but that grew dull. I tried reading the paper, and that grew dull. Of course, there was nothing of quality on TV. I just put on cartoons for the baby. Jimmy laid on the floor, feet kicking as he scribbled and watched Elmer Fudd chase Bugs Bunny. And I sank into the couch with my Riviera, listening to the rain fall. Now normally I would have known better than to hold the glass in my left hand. But subconsciously, I knew that when my hand twitched, it would spill, and I would have to actually get up and clean my shirt. It would give me something to do. Fun. Pure joy. I ran the cold water in the kitchen, and a bright flash of lightning came from the window. So bright that I wondered how close it could be to the house. I looked. The lightning didn't scare the little man outside. He stood as stiff as a statue as the thunder roared, the water pouring over his little top hat and onto his stern white face. His eyes were wide, empty, endless, and on me. I felt something for once, a feeling of unease. My hand searched for the kitchen knife. Nothing. The holder was empty. The drawer. I have one barbecue fork in the left drawer. I slid it open, and a puffy fabric adorned with pink flowers popped out of the drawer. What? The fabric shifted, unfolded, and a long arm stretched out with a gloved hand. It waved at me. The cabinet by my head slammed open, a red shoe kicking out. Jimmy. Only his passy was left on the living room floor. My hand twitched, and so did my eyes. They twitched all around, and caught the couch cushion, rising up. Oh no. I ran straight for the door, made it out, but tripped. I fell face to face with the baby, his lifeless eyes frozen in permanent fear, the doggy balloon shoved down his throat. Something touched me. I flipped around. This clown was tall and lanky, with a rainbow afro and a crooked smile. He backed away from me with glee, waving his hands around like he performed a magic trick. My feet, he tied them with balloons. I kicked and crawled over to the lawn, screaming, "Help!" Barely inching along, the rain and thunder drowning me out. They all circled around me, their bright faces all melting with disgust. Please, somebody help me. Help! The little man grabbed my throat. and I hiccuped, my last breath floating away as a bubble in the air.